All right, so first off, we're going to start off with Kevin O'Leary owning the CNN host regarding Trump's case in New York. Check it out.
Well, let's bring in the chairman of O'Leary Ventures, Shark Tank judge Kevin O'Leary. Kevin, so good to see you this evening. I mean, let me just jump right in here. Last time you and I spoke about the possibility of what the fine could be in this case, we now know what it is. It's more than $350 million. That's a huge financial hit. And I'm wondering, where is he going to get this money?
Actually, it's closer to $500 million with a 9% interest, assuming it'll take 18 to 2 years to actually settle this in an appeal, which I think it should be appealed. He'll work hard to raise it. I think he can do it.
Can we pause this real quick?
I don't think this.
So actually, it's already probably taken care of now. I don't know if you guys heard, but I don't know anything about stocks or whatever. But long story short, something happened with True Social. Am I right about this, Micah? And he basically doubled his income overnight. Yeah, True Social went public, and then he went from like $4 billion, I think, to $8 billion. I don't know, something like that. So obviously, he doesn't have to worry about these legal fees anymore, which is, I mean, I guess that's good. He can just kind of focus on his campaign. But as far as that goes, that's already been taken care of. So, that's interesting. But all right, you can go ahead.
Cases about Trump anymore at all, because you heard the governor of New York come out yesterday and say, look, everybody, don't be scared about doing business in New York, because the only people we prosecute are people like Donald Trump who don't behave well. That didn't go over very well with the investment community, because we're all asking each other, who's next? This was a victimless crime. Nobody lost any money. And a judge out of nowhere put on a $355 million penalty. I mean, who's next? So if you think
Kevin,
about
before I don't want to cut you off, but I hear about the so-called victimless crimes, but the laws on the books, falsification of business records in second degree, issuing false financial statements, insurance fraud, conspiracy, and all these different aspects of it, those are actual crimes. I take it your point is that these should not have been prosecuted?
Well, my point is there's never been a case like this in 75 years. Everything you just listed off is done by every real estate developer everywhere on earth in every city. This has never, ever been prosecuted. But here's the real point that people in New York should concern themselves with. You can put your money anywhere. I'm a real estate developer. Do you think there's a chance I would ever take a chance on New York again? New York is turning itself into a flyover state.
Wow.
I have to build data centers now. I'm not going to go to New York. New York has power. It's got fiber optics. It's got Niagara Falls. But no, we're not even thinking about it. We're going to places that have the exact same thing, where we have rational governors that have never done this to investors. This is about New York and its people. If I were in New York today and I was living there, I would ask myself, maybe we should hire better management. Why is this happening to us? Why are we becoming a flyover state? Why are investors concerned about putting their...
So I want to give you guys a little context to this. Kevin O'Leary is by no means a Republican. Definitely not a Democrat, but he is by no means a Republican. And so this isn't just some, I'm defending Trump type stuff. He's just straight up saying New York is just become a flyover state. Investors don't want to invest there anymore because of Democratic policies and weaponization of the DOJ and the weaponization like Trump's charges as far as that goes with his quote unquote overstatement of his real estate and his worth and stuff like that. And investors do this all the time. Real estate agents, to get a greater loan at a bank, everyone does it, at least according to Kevin O'Leary does. And that's what he's saying. This is all alleged, but I mean, I'm by no means an expert in this stuff, but why is Kevin O'Leary, who is by no means a politician at all, he's a Shark Tank celebrity. He's got, so many investments in so many things. So he knows what he's talking about. And he's telling everybody to get out of New York. Okay, this isn't political. This is just common sense. And it's showing you kind of how they're literally targeting certain people if you say the wrong thing. If you don't say what they want you to say, then you either got to get out or pay us, and that's ultimately what's happening in this country. This country is no longer really the land of the free. It's starting to become very tyrannical, whether you're a politician, whether you're a businessman, if you say the wrong thing, if you get out of line, we're gonna come after you. It's essentially what New York is saying, and I think Kevin O'Leary is hitting the nail right on the coffin. It's perfect, especially knowing that he's not this right winger. He's just a normal guy doing business in New York. So anyway, keep going.
Money there.
But shouldn't you ask that? Wouldn't those people also be saying, first of all, I do wonder how many people take issue with the idea that every investor is engaged in falsifying business records, that every investor is engaged in what has been accused of Donald Trump and the Trump organization. Because there's probably a lot who are saying to themselves, I've never falsified my business records. I know what a square foot looks like. I know what I can ask for and what I have the money to support. So I wonder to what extent that really is true. But on the second point, wouldn't there be many companies who would not want to do business or loan money to people like yourself or investors if they know that they can get away with fraud and there's no recourse to protect them?
Excuse me, what fraud? This is not about Trump anymore. When you get a developer that builds a building and he says it's worth $400 million and he wants to borrow $200 million from a bank, which happens every day, everywhere on earth, including every American city, every developer is an entrepreneur. They shine the light on their building and they say it's worth 400. The bank does its own due diligence, as was done in this case, because they're very good at it. The banks are very good, and they say, no, it's worth 300. We're only going to loan you 150 million. That haggling has gone on for decades. That's how it works. And then in this case, even the bank that was supposedly defrauded testified and said, we didn't lose anything. We want to do business with this guy again.
Wow.
We'd like to. But the judge said, no, 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 no. Let's penalize this developer for $355 million. And if we're going to do that, let's penalize all the developers all across America. They've all done the same thing. All of them should go to jail, and we should stop building buildings.
Wow.
That's what the message is from New York. Even the governor herself is concerned about what this looks like to investors all around the world. It's not just U.S. domestic. All around the world, people are talking about what happened here.
Wow.
You really think people want to invest money in New York after this? How about we go somewhere else?
I think there are people who would, I don't want to cut you off, but I want to converse with you instead.
You just did.
It's only because I want to have a conversation.
Pause it real quick.
Kevin.
Pause real quick. Okay, so they're kind of going off, but I want to. Kevin O'Leary said we just slid right past that. The bank, I didn't know. I don't. Again, this is all alleged. This is coming from homeboy. He's talking on the screen. I don't know exactly if this happened. I didn't really pay much attention to the actual case of it all. But apparently, the bank that supposedly is this victim said we want to keep working with Trump. As a matter of fact, it was undervalued. That is very interesting. And the judge said, no. That, my friends, is corruption. That is third world country, tyranny. Okay, that is insane. If that is true, that is crazy, and I didn't even know that. So anyway, I'm gonna let them keep yapping. This is funny.
As opposed to just having
I respect you because you're a lawyer. You're a lawyer. You understand exactly what I'm talking about.
I got to tell you, I'm respectable for a number of reasons, Kevin O'Leary, but being a lawyer is one of those issues. But I'll tell you, when I hear your conversation, and I do want to converse with you about this point, I understand that there are legitimate concerns that were raised during the trial and will continue to be raised about who the quote-unquote, who is actually bringing the suit. It wasn't the banks who were saying that we as consumers or unsophisticated feel this way. But Letitia James, the Attorney General, and I know you want to expand beyond Trump, has suggested, well, it's about making the playing field level for those who are not the major and billionaire investors, but for those who are supposed to put business records out there, want to get a loan, the idea of making sure that they have to have the same true statements included as those who have a lot more money. Is there any weight to that for you?
Well, I asked you who lost money, and I'll make it even clearer. You and I, we're developing a data center together, and I say to you, we can go to New York, where this just happened. It's your money now. You're now an investor, and you're taking risk. You're an entrepreneur with me, right beside me. We're together on the deal. Or I can show you Oklahoma, North Dakota, West Virginia, where the governors actually ran businesses. Let's go there, where this never happened before. They have power. They have permits. They've got legislation that's supportive of entrepreneurship. Why would we go to New York? Why take the risk? My only point is, did we just diminish the great state of New York and the great people of New York? And shouldn't they ask for better management so they don't become a flyover state? Remember, New York has the highest taxes in the country, the worst regulatory environment, and it's incredibly mismanaged. And I'm pointing out now, on top of that, you get this insanity, a victimless crime. And forget about Trump. It's not about Trump. I don't care about Trump in this. I care about America, and I care about entrepreneurship, and I care about democracy and the fairness. The judicial system is now being criticized. People are asking themselves, the bar of New York, is this judge rational to charge $355 million in a case where no one lost any money? Is that good for the people of New York? Should the people of New York wake up to this and say, what's happening to us? Why is this becoming so perverse? Why are we the focus of this injustice? And I, nothing to do with Trump. I'm not supporting Trump. I'm supporting American entrepreneurship. And New York is slowly becoming the #1 loser state in America.
Wow.
I'm sorry. That's what's happening.
Well, that's news to the city that doesn't sleep. But I'll tell you what, the governor has said that legitimate business operations have nothing to worry about. I, as an attorney, am looking at this issue, wondering what the appeals process will look like, because they're going to delve into that very topic that you have raised. They're going to talk about perhaps the novelty of this being, as you described, not brought on behalf of, unsophisticated consumers who may have been duped, but decisions made by loan entities who wanted to engage in business with this particular organization.
Let me
That'll
put
be
up my
really important.
hand.
Go ahead, put your hand up.
I want to put up my hand and ask, Governor, who's next?
Yeah.
Who are you going after next?
You want your hand up for that, Kevin? Put your hand down if that's the question.
Who's
What do you
next?
mean?
Every entrepreneur in New York is saying, am I next? Who's next?
This is so good.
Well,
That's
let me ask you this, because you don't want to talk about Trump, but I have to ask you, because you're a businessman who likes to talk about licensing. Do you currently own, or will you be buying one of these gold sneakers?
Thank you. No, it's very expensive, very expensive. But you have to hand it
That's
to the
expensive?
branding.
Okay.
You have to hand it. I collect watches.
Wow.
2 of them right here. I'd rather buy a watch.
Do you have 2 watches? Okay, well, you know what time it is. All right, fine. Kevin O'Leary,
All
I'll
right,
let
Micah,
you
you
your
can
2
end
watches
it.
go.
That was funny, man. That's good. And yeah, that's another thing. Again, Trump came out with those golden shoes, obviously before True Social went public. And, I'm assuming some of those funds were going to go towards legal fees, but obviously he doesn't need that anymore. But he's right. Very good marketing. What do I think about this? Well, obviously, I agree with everything Kevin said. I mean, the guy is obviously a neutral party in this case, yet he's shocked. And that he's shocked because he knows the absolute hypocrisy that is the Democrat Party and the Democrat funded justice system in that state. The Attorney General and all of them, they're all corrupt. The judge, everyone, the governor, everyone. And it's very sad that we no longer can trust our judicial system. We've gotten to a point into this country where it's become normal to really bump into the conservative on the street. It's very normal to make anti-white racial jokes. It's very normal to celebrate things that should not be celebrated, and it's very normal to put down things that should be celebrated. And sadly, a lot of our money's going to it through tax dollars. A lot of our money's going towards it through many things. But a lot of you guys are funding this willingly. A lot of you guys are funding this willingly. And my friends, I am, unlike you guys, I'm tired of supporting this nonsense. We should be funding good things, good companies with good values, which is why I highly recommend you guys switch over to Patriot Mobile. Are you guys tired of compromise? Are you guys tired of funding the left? Well, Patriot Mobile is an example of putting the cause ahead of the profits, and that's why I'm proud to partner with them. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage, giving you access to all 3 major networks, which means you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to without funding the left. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you support the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the sanctity of life, our military, veterans, and first responder heroes. They have a 100% US-based customer service team, which makes switching super easy. You get to keep your number, you get to keep your phone, or you can upgrade. Their team will help you find the best plan for your needs. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Heard or call 972-PATRIOT. When you use my code HERD, you get a free activation, my friends. So if you go to patriotmobile.com/Heard, use code HERD for a free activation today. And again, they have an amazing US-based customer service. They can all help you out. I highly recommend you guys switch over. Stop funding left and start funding things and issues that you care about. This is a really good cause, and this is ultimately how we're going to win back the culture, win back our country, and make America great again. So, my friends, go to patriotmobile.com/Heard, use code HERD for free activation. Now, back to it. Like I said, Kevin O'Leary is right, and ultimately, the takeaway that we should have from this video, ultimately, is where do we go from here when it comes to New York? Where do we go from here, really, when it comes to all over this country with entrepreneurship? You know, I'm a big capitalist guy. I believe in free markets. And, you know, ultimately, I'm very scared about where this country is going to go, because if things like this are happening in New York, again, where entrepreneurs really took off in this country, who's next? And like Kevin O'Leary said, again, who's next? Am I next? You know, so, you know, I'm very concerned about that. But anyway, we're going to move on to the next story. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video.